Minutes past the hour, the U.S. just signing an agreement with the West African country of Niger to increase our military presence there. This coming amid new concerns that al-Qaeda is gaining a stronger foothold in the region. John Bolton, former U.S. ambassador to the UN and a Fox News contributor with me now, and good morning to you. You say we should be very concerned about this. Why?
Yeah, I think we can see from what happened in Benghazi on September the 11th, the French operations in Mali, the hostage taking in Algeria, the chaos breaking out in Egypt. North Africa is becoming unstable, and this is something that should be of great concern to us, because the terrorist threat that we've seen in all these places is obviously growing and expanding, and a direct threat to Europe and ultimately to us.
Let me just show our viewers on the map here, Mr. Ambassador, what we're talking about. Drones setting up on airstrips. And the country, I tell you, for the life of me, I never thought this to be a possibility. That we would be on television, Mr. Ambassador, talking about drones and the country of Niger set up here somewhere on the western and southwestern border here that could then fly over northern Mali, which is where the Islamist rebels have taken refuge over the past year. That is one issue in this region. And then you talk about Algeria and the gas plant that was under siege 10 days ago. Algeria has its own issues. Then further east in Libya after the fall of Gaddafi, so many of these weapons, reportedly, they went into Algeria. Many of them went down here to Mali, and that's what we're contesting at the moment. And furthermore, I'll just make mention of this, and I'll come back to what's happening here in Egypt. But again, I never thought we would be on television talking about U.S. military involvement operating out of Niger to contest Islamists in Mali. But you say people have been talking about this for some time. It's just a question of whether we listen to them or not.
Right. The Pentagon has been concerned about the terrorist threat in North Africa for over a decade. And even before the new African command was created, they were worried about how to handle it. Now, this drone base that we're going to set up in Niger, you can see from the map, it's a centrally located country, and it's going to give us better insight, certainly, than we had, for example, on 9/11 in Benghazi.
How does the administration feel about this? Do they want to enter this phase, or would they rather not?
Well, I'm not sure the president's particularly paying attention. He has yet to break away from his line that the war on terror is going very successfully. Indeed, it's almost over. When we can see across North Africa, the terrorists are growing. They're in pressure from the French in Mali. But how long are the French going to stay there in the numbers that they're now? Just today, there was an announcement that Iran had put weapons on a ship going into Yemen to help arm the pro-Iranian terrorists there in Yemen, where the state is disintegrating. So everywhere you look across Syria,
it's popping, and it's a boiling point. But you say what we need to be effective is one singular anti-terror strategy.
Right.
Do we have that in this administration?
We do not. We have, in fact, a denial that there is a global war on terrorism. Now, the experts are going to disagree about how to handle it, but this is not a series of discrete incidents. Well, Algeria is here, and Syria is here, and Egypt's here, and none of them are connected. There is a problem that's been growing for 20 years in the region. We saw it on our first 9/11. We've seen it now just in the past couple of months. And we either get serious about it again, or we're going to see what happened in Afghanistan before the first 9/11.
Look, Afghanistan is one of the poorest countries in the world, but when you look at this list, Algeria, Libya, then you get Niger, Mali, Somalia, these are some of the poorest countries in the world still today. In Egypt, and I referenced it on the map over there, the army chief is warning that unless that situation gets under control within 7 days, he's warning the entire country could collapse.
Yeah, well, the economy is already in the tank as a result of what's happened in the so-called Arab Spring over the past 2 years. And I think the only outcome that's foreseeable here, if the government doesn't get its act together, is the military will step in and take control. This is an example of a radical Islamized party that gained power in Egypt, and it's a pattern for what I'm afraid we're going to see across the entire region.
Challenges to come. Thank you. John Bolton, Mr. Ambassador, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.